Ever since I was a young boy, I have loved alien bug movies. Who doesn't love a great alien bug movie? Since 1953, the release of War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells' famous book was turned into a Hollywood blockbuster, and it totally changed the world. It gripped the world with fear at the thought of being invaded by aliens. Then I remember seeing Starship Troopers, released in January 2 of 1998. That was another blockbuster movie where we see the world under threat of an alien invasion of bugs. Well, now, again, on the 2nd of July, 2021, Hollywood is at it again, but this time with an alien bug movie with a difference. This one has a message that everyone needs to hear.
Boy, they say kids never come by unless they need something.
Dad, I need your help.
I'll get my coat.
30 years in the future, we are fighting a war. Our enemy is not human, and we are losing. We need you to fight.
I will be back. And I love you, Chickpea.
7 days from now, when you're sent into that war, you won't be fighting for your country. You'll be fighting for the world.
Is it all right?
Yeah, going to war.
Stop talking. Listen.
Sorry, when I'm nervous, I talk. I'm like a 97 on the nervous scale.
That should be fun.
Welcome to the future. You and your unit are now in 2051.
They're everywhere.
We are food, and they are hungry. Our enemy is smarter, faster, and stronger than you can possibly imagine. Do you want to see something really dangerous?
I feel like literally that's all I've been doing since I got here, but okay.
Within the next few weeks, the human species will disappear from the face of the earth.
Nothing we do here matters.
No, that's where you're wrong. I don't believe that one bit.
Together, we can stop this war from ever happening.
This is my opportunity to give this world a second chance. Second chances are really hard to come by.
Light him up!
Okay, so let's take a look at some of the things that come up in this movie, because there's a lot going on under the surface. There's not just a alien bug movie going on here. There's a subliminal message being embedded within the narrative. So first of all, we see Chris Pratt, who is famous for his roles in the Jurassic Park movie series, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Marvel Universe's Avengers, which is an amazing film. Again, we saw messages within those films. In this latest offering from Hollywood, we see that there is a war in the year 2051, which is 30 years on from 2021. And we hear the message or the script that these warriors, who are everyday civilians, who are not trained military, are going to be caught up into the air. And it is a rapture-like scene that we see that transports these citizens who have now been drafted into the army to fight a war 30 years in the future, to fight an enemy of aliens called white spikes. So I want to take a look at that and leave a little suggestion as to where this name for the aliens comes from. But before I go any further, let's jump 31 minutes into the movie and take a look at these scenes that I'll be talking to you about in a moment.
Now we can jump you to 2051 and we can jump you back, period.
Every 6 days, the white spikes disappear. They crawl back into their nests.
We call it the Sabbath, their day of rest. And that's when we insert troops.
Okay, but why don't we have pictures or videos, would help us to know what we're up against?
The consensus was that if the public saw what they'd face when they reached the future, it would become virtually impossible to fill that hunger.
Okay, cool. Next time someone asks that, you should probably just lie.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dinner.
There's another Sabbath coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. That's when I leave.
Right. It's a big day all around, I guess.
So they're caught up into the clouds, which again, the book of Thessalonians in the Bible speaks of the resurrection. I don't teach rapture, we teach resurrection. And the saints will be caught up into the clouds to be with the Mashiach. In the movie, they're transported 30 years into the future where this alien threat has manifested on the earth and they threaten to destroy and annihilate mankind. And the name for them, as I said before, is white spikes. Could this be a suggestion or an allusion to a people group known as the Seventh-day Adventist Church? Why do I say that? Because one of the founders of the Adventist Church is Ellen G. White, and those who are within the Adventist Church predominantly, generally follow the teachings and the writings of Ellen G. White, who is professed to be a prophet. And those followers of the Adventist Church follow her teachings very much so. So this seems to be, to me at least, be a reference to those that follow Ellen G. White, therefore the Adventist Church. But really and truly, the label of Sabbath keepers or Shabbat keepers is not exclusively owned by the Seventh-day Adventists who did not create the Shabbat. In fact, the Shabbat was given to the people of Israel. So this has a wider connotation to all those who keep the Shabbat. In fact, the Shabbat day is only one of a series of Shabbats that are to be kept, and it's a whole package. So this really points at not just the Seventh Adventist Church, but specifically those who really keep the Shabbats of the Most High. Again, another point to draw upon here is the movie's title, The Tomorrow War, referring to a war that is yet to come. Does the Bible speak of a war that is yet to come on the earth, but sometime in the future? Yes, indeed, it does. In Revelations chapter 16 and chapter 20, we read about a war in a place called Armageddon. And this is a war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness, the good and the evil. That the evil ones will come against the camp of Elohim, the camp of God. And they shall war against the people of the Most High after the 1,000-year reign, after the millennium. And this is where the beast is released from the bottomless pit to deceive the nations into making war against the Most High himself and his elect bride. So this is interesting how it seems that the film is playing on this theme and sending a message about a group of people, or globally, peoples from all over the earth will be in the future expected to fight against an enemy threat or alien threat that is among us. I don't want to give too much away about the movie, but the threat is already here among us, and they're called the white spikes, and they are to be totally annihilated, or mankind will be annihilated by them. So Hollywood is sending a very clear message that it is the Shabbat keepers who are the threat, and the Shabbat keepers are the people of the Most High who keep his Torah completely, and they have the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach. Just before I bring this segment to a close, I just want to add in some interesting information as well. A gentleman by the name of Vernon von Braun, who was a scientist that was brought out of Nazi Germany under Operation Paperclip. And it is Vernon von Braun that is responsible for the NASA rockets that were built throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s. His technology catapulted the Americans forward in the space race. He actually made an interesting quote that there will be a deception in the latter days of an alien invasion that would threaten the existence of mankind. It's very interesting that he said this, because this is being carried over into what's called the Illuminati playing cards, which is supposed to be a prophetic sequence of events that will come about in the last days. But we've seen this pattern and these so-called predictions by shadowy elite of alien invasion. In fact, we had Ronald Reagan go on the world stage and say, how would mankind react if he knew that there were other entities out there in space and that were threatening the very existence of mankind? Would the world, or would not the world, unite if we all faced a common threat? So we know that the elites are wanting to play on this. And here now we see the same Hollywood bug movie revamped again in a different form, but now they're embedding in this another message that there is a war on against the Shabbat keepers. Hollywood has now declared war, so to speak, in a movie against Shabbat keepers. Very subtly done. Something I'd like to also draw your attention to in the movie is that everyone in this global militia army that's being assembled from every man and woman on the planet to fight this war in the future has to have a device embedded upon their body, in fact, on their arm, that is encoded to their DNA, enabling them to thus be transported into the future. Clearly, this parallels the mark of the beast within the book of Revelations, that without this no man can buy nor sell. But without this, no one can travel into the future, and you cannot remove this device without facing serious consequences from this global government. Also notice at the very beginning of the movie, something that would set the tone, a Krampus Demon during the time of Christmas. And we all, hopefully you've seen a teaching that we've done before on this channel about Krampus demons and their origin. They are the origin of Santa's elves. So it's interesting, the movie opens up with Christmas Day celebrations, and we have this very large shot of a Krampus demon, which kind of tells us this is all a demonic suggestion and demonic seduction going on here. The enemy seeks to seduce us with his lies and program the minds of the people. So this is all demonic programming to the masses on a global scale, and it's gone straight to Amazon Prime for maximum effect on the world. Beloved, let's stay close to Yeshua. This is not a time now for us to be asleep or to be in slumber. We are to be the bride with our lamps trimmed and oil bottles in reserved, watching and waiting for the Mashiach. And it's interesting that as we are entering into the fall feasts, the clarion call of the shofar goes out on Yom Teruah to call the people to awake out of slumber. Shalom, until next time.